The Marines move into Los Angeles.
I think we're entering an even another phase, especially under President Trump, with his focus on the homeland, where the National Guard and Reserves become a critical component of how we secure that homeland.
There are now thousands of National Guard troops and Marines in L.A.
No ICE in our state!
And a few dozen protesters.
This is what it's like on the dividing line in downtown L.A.
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News.
Good evening, I'm John Dickerson. Maurice DuBois is in downtown Los Angeles, where 700 Marines are now joining more than 4,000 California National Guard troops. They were all ordered in by President Trump, and his defense secretary told Congress today we're likely to see more of this around the country. The commander-in-chief using the military in roles usually performed by civilian police forces. The president has made no secret of his admiration for the military. At Fort Bragg today, he watched a demonstration of weaponry in commemoration of the Army's 250th birthday. And he'll be reviewing a massive military parade in Washington on Saturday. The forces on the streets of L.A. tonight far outnumber the demonstrators protesting the arrests of undocumented immigrants. The cost of the deployment, it's estimated at $134 million. California asked a federal court today to stop it. And Maurice has the latest. Maurice, you're outside the detention center there, which has gotten a lot of the activity. What's happening where you are right now?
Well, John, so striking how quickly things can change here on the ground. Right now, we're about 300 yards away from the federal detention center. Officers are here, the protesters on this side, but that's the detention center all the way down the street. You can see that heavy police presence. The reason some people decided to get rowdy after a day of peaceful protests, and the police just weren't having it. As a bus believed to be carrying detainees arrived at LA's federal detention center, protesters blocking the entrance were met by pepper balls fired to push them back. It was a brief moment of tension in an otherwise calm day. This is what it's like on the dividing line in downtown L.A. Peaceful protesters here, part of a group of hundreds of people in downtown. And right here, we have National Guard troops standing at the ready. Most protesters tell us they're not looking for trouble. Among those we spoke to, Enrico Green, a Marine combat veteran who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. People across the country look at this and say, L.A. is burning. We need Trump to send in the military, send in the National Guard, the Marines, whoever, to get it under control. You say what?
I say that LA is not burning. LA is protesting, LA is standing up for our neighbors, and LA is showing solidarity. Today, crews attempted to clean up from the latest round of protests, which last night started peacefully and ended turbulently. While scenes like this are being broadcast prominently around the world, here's some context. It's all happening in a small part of downtown LA, at and around City Hall and the Federal Building, where detainees from ICE raids have been taken just a few blocks in a county of nearly 10 million people. As for the skirmishes, police and public officials here say they have it under control, but federal reinforcements keep coming. 700 U.S. Marines to join more than 4,000 National Guard troops. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass tells us the extra help is not welcome. When it comes to the National Guard, you say they're underutilized or just basically not working.
I'm saying there's nothing for them to do. They are guarding a building. Okay, that is fine. But why would you bring in more troops when even the ones that are here have nothing to do?
Yeah, so Maurice, compare yesterday, if you would, to what's happening today, and also who is doing the actual arresting?
Yeah, the arresting seems to be being done by the LAPD. You know, this thing seems to be taking on a rhythm. The day builds slowly, and then things get more rowdy as the night goes on. Police seem to have found their rhythm with that when it comes to pushing people back. And so the difference yesterday, people were near the federal buildings. Today, they're a good several hundred yards away. So we'll see what the night brings. People here aren't exactly happy, and there are rabble-rousers, as you know, who also join the crowd, and we'll see what happens, John.
All right, Maurice, we'll be back to you later in the broadcast. Thank you. For more on the president's plan to use the U.S. military to protect the homeland, we go to Ed O'Keefe at the White House.
President Trump warned today the unprecedented deployment of National Guard and Marines in Southern California to quell protests is just the start.
I can inform the rest of the country that when they do it, if they do it, they're going to be met with equal or greater force than we met right here.
The president specifically called out people who might protest a first-of-its-kind military parade planned for Saturday in Washington. Preparations are underway for the celebration of the Army's 250th anniversary that coincides with Trump's 79th birthday.
And for those people that want to protest, they're going to be met with very big force.
The warnings come as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and other top Pentagon officials told lawmakers today the Guardsmen and Marines in Los Angeles are trained to control crowds and armed.
The commanders and troops on the field are very well prepared, sir.
This situation.
Chuck Hagel is an Army veteran and former Republican senator who served as President Obama's defense secretary.
What would be your biggest concern then about having National Guard and Marines deployed in large American cities?
Loss of life, like we saw in 1970.
But 1970 at Kent State.
At Kent State, when the National Guard opened up on students and killed students, partly because they weren't trained. They panicked.
When they hear the president say, if there are protests, I'm going to send troops into other cities or to other places, how would officers likely be reacting when they hear that?
The concern that our top leadership will have if this continues is, am I going to get to the point where I may have to refuse a direct order to send in or give troops authority to do whatever?
And I would think even contemplating defying an order from the commander-in-chief is a nightmare scenario for most officers.
Sure. Contemplating a scenario like that is a career-ending decision.
And Ed O'Keefe joins us now from the White House. Ed, the president spoke at Fort Bragg today. What did he say, if anything, about what's happening in L.A.?
Well, it was quite a scene, John, to see the commander-in-chief speaking in front of troops, giving such a politically charged address about what's going on in Los Angeles. He called protesters, quote, animals. And when he referenced Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass and California Governor Gavin Newsom, he called them incompetent. The crowd, a mix of civilians and uniformed personnel, booed at mentions of the mayor and the governor. Quite a scene at the nation's largest Army base. We don't normally see the commander-in-chief give such political remarks in front of the troops. John?
Indeed. Ed O'Keefe at the White House. Thank you, Ed.